the same amount of clerks. There was still that part-time position that was approved last year that I didn't fill, that I used some of those hours for summer help, and I would like to do that again next summer. I won't fill the position, I'll only use it for summer help in the summer, so I didn't change that in here. I should have changed that.
Okay, so
instead of it being a 32-hour position year-round, then it would only be for the summer weeks, up to, well, I guess up to 29 hours, so 25 hours.
for two.
Yes,
Each one 25.
yes, 25,
At minimum wage?
at whatever our part-time help salary is.
Okay, even though they're temporary positions, you want to leave them at the
Yeah.
higher rate of pay. I would say minimum wage.
How much are you paying them now, Carol?
Whatever I think we said whatever part-time was, because it was
I
9.
think it's 9.
Yeah. So, I don't know.
I think that's a little high just for the kids, but what do you think?
Well, that's why I said my opinion would be minimum wage, since they're temporary,
Okay, well
high
then,
schoolers,
yeah,
colleges, whatever.
Put minutes on minimum wage is fine.
And would that be for like 10 weeks of the summer or 12 weeks of the summer?
I'm going to say 12 because it never ends up being 12, but 10 would be fine. That would be okay. And that's an overshot too. It may not be 2 people. Again, it may just be 1. I decreased my office expense by 1,000 because we haven't used all of it this year. I don't expect that we will. I don't think it's going to boom again like it did before when it was so high. I asked for more money in my conference expense, and I don't know if this got there, if you have this to explain the conferences. They're not just mine that go to, it's also, I send the chief deputy to a couple of them as well, or 1 or 2, and then the probate conference, whoever's doing probates at the time will go to that conference. The mileage for one of them is reimbursed by the association, so I didn't add that in, but you can see that why I asked for more on the conference expense.
But your office expense, what all you put in there? I mean,
My office expense, it's all of the paper, all of the supplies that we use. Do any of the books come out of there, or is that out of records management? It's all paper, mostly.
It's papers, it's files, it's pens,
Yeah,
it's
and-
paper.
you sure
clips,
that's
it's
enough?
Yes, that would, yes. Well, I mean, it has been this year, so I think it will be next year.
What about the other copy machine that's at the home? Or don't they have another one that everybody uses for the records and stuff, or?
Yes, but that's included. I mean, that's.
That's
yeah.
it, that was my concern.
Yeah, the paper is what we use the most of, but also file folders and for the case jackets for everything. I also put in there for a new copy machine. They got a letter that the one we have is obsolete now. They won't be able to get parts anymore, or it's discontinued. So he sent me 2 different quotes. I don't know how we've done it in the past. I guess it's at least a purchase or whatever. But the quote that he sent that was comparable to what we have after we would take in the trade-in would be $10,962. And I think I put that letter in there too.
And then get these copy agreements with them, how long they do for a year, or?
I don't know. I've never had to get one before.
It's 63-month lease purchase.
So he's still going to give you a trade-in on it?
Yeah, he
So-
sent it.
And these are including the state discounts.
Probably.
I'm sorry, the one I missed
guessing.
you?
These do include the state discounts.
Okay.
Yeah, and that was through, that includes all the toner, drums, developer, they come out and do all that for us anyway, so that's included. The only thing that includes is paper and safety.
And how do you know how much the toner's going to be? Do they tell you how much, like Luana was asking me a while ago?
Well, I'm just looking at this, and I think if you have a contract, yours might include toner also.
Okay.
I don't know how they did that.
I don't remember what it says. I'll
Yeah,
have to look.
but I don't know how much it costs, because ours is through that.
Okay.
You just send that, every month they send a report for copy count, and when you send that back, you can put on there if you need toner, and they just send it out. So I'm sure it's included.
They
in
do
there.
call for
Yours
copy
is a
count.
lease purchase, your proposition, and hers was an outright purchase, so I don't know if that agreement
Okay,
included it
oh,
or
that may
not.
be.
They do call for a copy count, I think, though.
Well, that may be just a.
I heard
maintenance,
Sylvia
not
ask,
sales.
I heard Sylvia giving a copy count to somebody. I don't know if it was for us or for somebody else or for what it was.
But that may just include maintenance, not
Oh, okay,
supplies.
Oh, maybe so, that's
Okay,
true.
well, let me ask you, it says it's gonna be dropping the contract in 30 days. Means 30 days from starting July 1?
October 1st.
From the day of the letter.
Yeah. Page 20, page 11.
then it's probably dropped already.
Well, did you get the Cindy on the cookie?
Yes.
Or you just-
Yeah, so I guess what I'm asking, do you have enough, you have enough to buy your supplies that you would have to replace?
You mean for the toner and stuff here? Yeah, I'll be fine till the budget year. Because we still have the other copy machine that we use as well, so.
So your code will still be good come budget year?
Yes, he told me that this would be good, because I told him we wouldn't do anything till October 1st, and he said that would be fine.
That was Mr. Fuquay?
Yes.
Okay.
I asked for an increase on the computer expenses, just because now we have the computers, we own all of them instead of leasing them with that new software purchase that we did last year. So now all those computers that we're going to be using are ours. So we won't have the expense of leasing them from the company anymore, but we will have the expense of maintaining them. And 10,000 is probably a lot more than we'll need, but I didn't know what was going to happen with them. We do have to get software for 5 of them for Microsoft Office.
Now, all those this morning, Carol, for Talk Technologies, those were all just all your software, or did that cover the election computers too?
The Tyler that was on the bills this morning, that's they're billing in phases for the new equipment that we're getting. That's all what that was. It's nothing about elections yet.
So your computer, you're going to need some that's going to need Microsoft software,
Yes.
and that's the Office or?
That's like Word and Excel and all that we use, yes. But that's just for the ones that the clerks use. That won't be for the public terminals or anything. Those are all
It's
set
like
up.
5 of them?
Yes.
Can you get a license like for 5?
I don't know. Yes. Yes. The ones, yes. We can. We will do that. That's all for the county clerk's office.
Tito, will you tell Alex who next, please?
At the back of the one on the second page of hers, so that county clerk, here shows county clerk expense, that's just
That's out of county and district clerk fees.
Fees.
That's a different fund.
okay.
Like, that's where they pay for, right now, they're paying for imaging services that they see us through that. But that'll change once Carol's document.
And second with the district clerk, correct, is they pay for their,
Alex, you want to do your budget? You ready?
Carol, is there anything else on your records and fees that we would need to look at for, I mean, like, he talked about a building or something for him, or?
Oh, like
taking
for
your rec-
storage and stuff? Yeah, that's all in the records management. But I don't have a plan. With every document that we, I just went blank.
Well, anyway, but.
We collect a fee for records management, and that's a whole separate fund, and so I don't have anything for that yet.
Now, Alex, again, well, I did put in for Alex when he was out. Alex was out sick on me for a while, but he ended up with he doesn't have a computer. The computer we have is on loan from juvenile. And then he requested an enclosed case, and I guess he was going to talk to you about that, Pete. I don't know how to go about even pricing an enclosed case.
Well,
For the-
yeah, something like the bulletin board, about $800.
You think,
Down the hall there.
you think we need to budget that much for it?
You know, one thing, you know, I visited with Alex a little bit. This is just my thoughts about it, you know. The veterans in this county have really, you know, I think we have a good officer now, somebody that's trying to take care of the veterans. And I was asking him if he had enough in his budget for, you know, what does he really do, like for travel? Does he take people to, you know, in a van or something? Do we have a van that, is it wheelchair accessible? Is there, do we have a fuel account for that van? Is there a repair budget for that van? What type of meetings he needs to go to? Is there a lot of conference expenses? I just had a few questions like that, and I want to make sure that we're covered and he's not, or the other, you know, veterans are getting their fair share, is what I'm trying to say.
Yes, because he stays busy.
And I always want to make sure that we, as a county, we're providing a service, we need to make sure that they're getting everything they need to do that service, and not having to struggle or try to raise money on the outside to do something.
The Well, in the current budget, there is a $500 mileage allowance that was put in intended for some of the meetings that he goes to that he has not claimed.
Is it 500 or 800, Luana? 800?
It's got 8 on here.
And you know what, I don't even know, I think I put that in there last year for him, and I don't think he claimed any of it, but he did do a lot of miles himself, because he can only use that van. That van was given to us by Congressman Hinojosa,
Right.
and
That's
Alex had his commander call and get that van to be able to, we have a volunteer driver here that is certified through the Department of Veteran Affairs that does some volunteering services, taking people back and forth to the VA. And anything that Alex has to travel himself, he should have been doing a travel report, and he probably hasn't. You're probably right.
Are we responsible for insuring that van or maintaining
That van's
van?
insured by the Department of Veteran Affairs. Those are volunteer vans. That one was in Guadalupe County, and we had Alex has built the caseload up here so big, we had more to service to take back and forth actually than Guadalupe County. That's how we got the van.
As far as the computer, Neva had said that as long as it stays at the county buildings, that it's
Okay.
fine for him to continue using that one.
Are you okay by that?
Yes,
Is it working for you? Is it, any problems with it?
I got no problem.
Then we need to put him some computer expense in there too. So when he has, whatever goes on with his computer, he can get it, fixed or whatever. Because he's going to need a vast and updates and everything else too. And we always just pay for those out of the county judge's budget.
Well, and of course, in his budget this year, there's a $600 office expense budget, of which a
When we ordered
nominal
it-
amount has been paid out.
Because when we were ordering his when we order supplies, we ordered them out of my budget. And then when my budget came to a halt, we forgot that Alex had a budget, because we're not used to having a veteran services. We've just always taken care of him. We actually do need some stuff, and like I said, we all order together.
So is that dollar amount adequate, $600 for that department?
I think so. I would like to leave that in there, but we need to get him some computer expense.
And the phone, usually this phone here.
His computer expense is under, his phone expense is under me too.
When you're talking about computer, you're talking about software also?
Yes, sir.
Office?
Do you need,
Just Office.
sir?
Office?
Office?
Microsoft Office.
So yeah, he needs to add some, what else do you need to add?
Right now, that's all I can think of. I'll let y'all know.
Does it have virus protection?
Yeah, we need that.
Yeah, I don't think he has any virus protection, because the one that we have, like I said, it's on loan from Neva, and nobody had used it for years. We turned it on when the kids used to use it.
So then as far as the dollar amount to put in there, 500?
You think that would cover, I don't know, he needs Microsoft.
Office
And,
is 350.
well, and he needs a virus protection program.
Well, everybody's going to be having that updated, so
Okay,
we
so
can get it
350.
with several per.
So then he only has 150 left for the whole year. I don't think that's going to be enough. I think
So what
700.
amount?
700 for computer expense.
You said computer expense 700?
Now, to stay as a
That goes
license,
along with the 3,000?
where he's not going to get the new computer, we're going to keep it on loan, is what we just decided. Is that correct?
So he just needs 700.
Right, take out the 3,000. And then we'll go to the 700 for computer expense, as long as that computer's still functional.
And
No,
this-
I do need somebody to come and check that. It's
You do
very
need
slow,
somebody?
very slow.
It's very slow.
Yeah.
See, that's my concern, is that thing's like 7 years old. I think we should actually just get him a new one. I mean, if the $3,000 is in here, I mean, because if he loses that data, he's in some major trouble.
So then, for total computer expense, you want it to be 3,700 or?
It's 3,700. That would give new computer and $700 to,
And then leave the 600 as office,
uh-huh,
and then 800 for an enclosed case?
yes.
Where does it back up to, Alex?
It doesn't back up to anything. Whatever I need to back up, I just copy it over to a CD and
He has a bunch of little SanDisk.
scan it.
The other thing is he has to require he attends one conference per year. He's got to keep his life insurance as a veteran services officer. Have they been reimbursing you? I know you usually go to that one in Corpus, that big one.
This one here in San Antonio, they did reimburse me for the
2 years in a
hotel
row.
room and all that stuff.
Are they going to continue to reimburse you?
Well, they changed. I'm not sure.
Do we need to put a conference expense in for a conference in case they don't reimburse you?
That'd be nice.
I don't know. It's just one conference a year, but it's 5 days or 6 days?
It's 4 days, really. 4 days.
Y'all stay 5 nights?
Yeah.
So, yeah, well, if not, he can't do it, so.
So 5 nights at $250, $275.
Where did you,
Well, last year, one year was in Corpus and then last year was in San Antonio. They change places every year. I mean, the guys go to, the commander picks a different place in Texas every year.
So if you do it at 275, basically a night, it'd be $1375 the budget. That would be
1,500,
the hotel, meals.
Okay.
1,500 be fair to say.
Huh?
That's fine, no make these calls on me.
I'm just asking.
$1,500, you think that would get you there and back?
Yeah, that's fine.
Where is this case gonna go that you're wanting
Congress.
on that one?
Anything else?
That's fine right there. You know, it's just like you come across something later on after this meeting, you come across, so maybe next time.
Well, and as long as it's brought before court and approved before adopted,
Oh, yes,
we can plug it.
How many hours are you working right now?
30.
30? Did you want to increase that at all, or?
No, okay.
I know we do a lot of volunteer time for students. Okay. Is that it, Alex?
That's it.
What about the van? Who pays the gas for the van?
Okay, the van is gas, any maintenance or whatever, it's government.
Government? Tires, the whole nine yards?
Yes.
And Juan Morales that comes in here is one of our volunteer van guys that takes a lot of these things around for us.
Yeah, myself and Juan are the drivers. I'm a backup driver in case Juan can't make it. So,
And van driving's on volunteer, so I'm volunteer. So is that for you, Alex? That's good?
That's it.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Next one is Brenda and, or Brenda, I guess. Are you 911 or both of y'all?
911. I'm going to tell him today too. She had to be.
She's special fund. Okay, I'll have y'all together, so that's okay.
I know you guys asked for prices on the plotter. The one up front is the very expensive one we're trying to avoid. But it's possible if we can't find a refurbished one. we're looking at There's one behind that that would keep us at basically what we're doing right now, which is just the ability to print off what we already have on file. If we get one with a scanner, then we can take a bunch of these older maps, say within our office, within the tax office, that we don't have backups for, and we can scan those in and get backups for all of them that way. If something ever was to happen to our originals, we've got a backup somewhere on those. And I talked to ACOG yesterday to see if we could get reimbursement on a new plotter. Kate is going to try to get it into their budget and see if they will approve it, so that at least we can maybe get some money back on buying a new one of these, because even if we buy the cheaper version, it's still a $10,000 price.
Is this on the buy board,
On the,
State contract.
state contract? We need to look at the state.
yeah, the one I found, it had for state, does that cover local? Because that dropped this one down to 15,000 on that, so that would put us at a much nicer number.
You said it dropped it down, what,
To 15
instead of the 21.9?
instead of the 21.
15 even, or?
I believe so. I can double check that again. I was trying to talk to Kay and see how much they can get to and all that. We'll keep working on that one. The other thing I know I asked Phil was, and this would actually be for both offices, is to get a cell phone for the truck. That way, if Helen and I are out and about, we can call back to the office if we have a problem. On all that in that way, because I know she doesn't carry a cell phone with her. She's asking to get on the insurance for the truck. That way, if she needs something with the floodplain, she can go out and do it without both of us having to leave the office right now. To go check on that. The other one that went up was vehicle repairs and maintenance. We pretty much wiped ours out for this year. So we want to up that for next year.
Did you get a new truck this year though, Brenda? Is that gonna
Oh,
help?
no.
No, Alvin's not the new truck.
I'm sorry, I thought you had a new truck.
You got the sheriff's
I know Karnes got a truck, and I didn't.
permit, got the truck.
So we put in there replacement on all the tires, windshields, because I think if it gets another chink in it, the whole thing's gonna go. And, up to repairs for 4,000, we just did a bunch of repairs on it, but it's getting older, it's temperamental, so at some point it's gonna go out.
We can make it,
My question to you
maybe we
guys,
get another one.
yeah, my question to you guys is, at what point do we wanna consider replacing that truck? Is it gonna be more
How long does it have on, Brenda?
Keep it only about 100.
But it's,
What?
115.
It's a Ford. It's a
115,000
Ford. It can go for forever.
115,
Like 115.
115,000.
that's not many miles.
Yeah, but it's, every time you take it to Alexander, it's $1,000.
Yeah, Tracy just got the sign off on my last bill with Alvin, so
Yeah.
it's getting up there in maintenance costs.
I mean, if it's not.
You're gonna have to spend $4,000 or $5,000 a year on maintenance.
What year is it, Brenda?
It's a
You can buy a new one for
Oh my
17.
gosh, if it's an 06, we don't need to pump in money in it. We need to.
You
You need
can
to
buy a
look
new
at.
one from the government.
You have full maintenance record on it? You have full maintenance record on it? What is it?
Yeah, well, we have records.
The records
What's
is
been
there.
done, how much has been spent, and whether, you know, what you think it needs.
Yeah, it's,
I don't know what the maintenance is for.
yeah, well, it's just spark plugs and wires and tune-ups and all that. And that's pretty expensive. Obviously,
Anytime you take a vehicle to a shop, it's gonna be $1,000.
Every time.
I won a Ford for 20 years, I run 200, something, 300,000 miles. I pump those miles in the truck. I pump them, but I'm not saying that this one may be one vehicle that came out of limit that maybe needs that much repair.
How many miles you drive on?
There's no such
Well, this
thing
was
as
a
that.
hand-me-down, when we got, do what?
How many miles
it
you
was a
drive on?
sheriff's truck.
I got,
It depends on how many, if we're doing a lot of wells, then I've been able to stay in the office a little more. As we get more residential, as we get
That
past
might
our
have
amount,
more miles than that.
we'll have to
Need
get
a
more
number.
mileage.
maybe it's an idle.
Yeah.
Probably about 500 a month,
500.
500 to 1,000 a month.
So let me ask you something. You're asking, okay, let's go back up a little bit. Office expense, 911 postage. Special projects is asking 1,500, and you got 10,000.
Yeah, because I put the plotter in
Okay,
there.
but is there the post, I mean, that includes postage too?
Postage, I had about, I figured about $500 on postage, that figured it out to about 60 letters a month, plus anytime we do a change of address, we have to send those letters out certified. And we're finding a lot wrong with that, so as we get caught up with other stuff, then that's gonna be the next priority, is to get address changes in.
I want to make sure, we're going to, you got both departments together, we duplicate
So
something.
no, we're going to split them out.
Yeah, they had us, that's part of the problem this year, is they had us all on the same budget, and we don't know who's
That's what I'm having
spending
a hard
what.
time trying to figure.
Brenda, on the 10,000 that you have for office and postage, of that is how much for the plotter? Let's pull that amount out. So
Okay. The plotter, the last meeting, if you weren't here, I bumped it up to 15, because even my maintenance guy says it's probably gonna be closer to 15,000 to replace the plotter.
So included in that 10,000 is not the new plotter. That 10,000 includes what?
Let's see, we had, let's see, that should drop it back down to about 5,000, right? In extra expenses, we had office supplies, the plotter paper runs about $50 a roll, so we just figured another 1,000 in that. I did a lot on our copy paper, because right now we're doing 103 map books straight across, and anytime there's revisions, you have to read through all those pages, so how many pages of revisions you have.
With the original request that you gave me, that I provided with them, your original request was 10,000, including 6,100 for the map plotter. If we pull the map plotter out, that leaves the rest of it at 4,400, rounding it to 5,000.
Okay.
Would that be okay to do office and postage at 5,000?
I think so, because we also put the, we're asking for the cell phone in that one, and we might be able to pull the camera out of the budget.
Okay.
Luana, Carol, I need to step out for a minute. Will you time me out for a little while? I don't know if I'll be back before hearings are over or not. James.
I see with the office expense on road, on a special project, right now your date is 970. Have you been absorbing some of that cost for her? Have you been taking over some postal stuff that's been going, like maybe in the 911 by chance?
I think she sent out all like 2 letters, so it's not.
Because I was wondering if that, because it was like budgeted last year, I see 4,500 and this year she's going to 1,500. I was wondering
Yeah, because we
why.
tried to split most of that out.
And like this postage, that would be Helen's paper, Helen's
Yeah.
office supplies, et cetera.
Most of her postage and everything is covered because like on the septic stuff, I can take those once a week and drop them off at the ER, so that's how we've been handling that. And then, our fuel expense, I know we didn't use all of it up this year, but we wanted to keep, I would like to keep it that just because of Helen, we do approve that she gets to use the vehicle, she's gonna be running out more often. And then as our aerial map goes out of date, we're missing a bunch of these wells, so that's gonna require a lot more driving out to the site to double check and see where they're at. And then our my ACOG and training and conference expenses. I know the addressing was completed, but I don't think they billed for it yet. So that one, that was what was approved in November before I came in. So we left that on there. The training never got completed because the supervisor that was doing it is no longer there. So until they get somebody, we will hold that one. And then I also included an RGIS 2 training course, just in the meantime, until we get somebody. That's basically a 3-day crash course that can be done in San Antonio.
Does that include,
No,
no?
not right
It's
now.
just,
Because this course is assuming you know RGIS in the first place. And then we left our utilities off because I'm still straightening that out.
I noticed on Helen's thing, it said from telephone unknown, this time due to address change in county, not receiving discount rates on our phone lines. What does that mean?
whoever set up the phone line originally for that building did not include it in the governmental contracts. And so we are having to go through hoops to get it adjusted and corrected.
Okay. Are all your maps current up to date, or, I know you said they are not, but some of them weren't, but is Sarah, did we, John include anything with a floodplain manager?
Yeah, I talked to Sarah and we were able to drop their floodplain layer onto my map, which now that we know that we have that availability, that's part of what we're asking for Ellen, so that we can drop. You can see exactly where somebody's house is sitting with the address point. Whereas on Sarah's map, they are updating it, but it's still not catching a lot of the newer stuff. So if she can see where I've got a location and then drop the floodplain map on it, that's gonna help her out a lot.
And this, you're 119 North Brown, right? Okay, and all this air conditioner, locks, and all that, that's repairs you need to that building, or
That's what needs to be done now.
that needs to be done now?
Yes.
So there's not a,
There's not a two-way street out of that thing, in
Yeah.
case there's a fire in the front room, how we gonna get out?
Which
Can't
he
get out
came
of
and
it.
changed,
You fixed
yeah,
it?
he came and fixed that off.
Of course, the inspector was here, it used to be David Bonder, it's now Larry Costio.
Good.
Anyway, I asked him what do we have on there, and he said, well, I'll send you a report. He said, we got 6 or 7 things on this bill. I don't know what, I'll have to see what that is for.
Real good.
But as far as that, that'll go into capital outlay or courthouse maintenance building,
Maintenance.
not in the
Yeah.
specific.
That's what I was wanting to know, because I don't, because we have to create a line item for building repair.
That'll come out of someone else. They just included that, so we have it. Be aware of costs.
And Luana, can we take, where it says general civil defense, can we just change that to special projects or?
We're going to split them up into two separate ones. One will be special projects coordinator and one will be 911 coordinator.
And then on Helen, I know she upped her conference expenses. That's because this year, FEMA training was in San Antonio. She was able to drive back and forth during that week. We don't know where it's going to be at next year. And she'd like to be able to go again and take the test so that she's certified as an administrator. And then on the miscellaneous, she included putting ArcGIS on there. The cost to get it in the first year is $1,500. And then it reverts back to like mine is now, where it's $400 a year maintenance. It keeps us up to date. These are the big ones. Is there anything else?
Is that all you have? We're going to move on to the elections department.
Well, we had an elections administrator and now we don't, but we're looking for another one. And we do have some things to look at for the elections department. One would be new voting machines. The M100s that we use right now are on the obsolete list as well. I think Alva told me that they bought them in 1995. The maintenance and parts are going to be very hard to come by from now forward. There's a vendor that would like to come out and do a presentation to Commissioners Court. And I'd really like for that to happen before so that he can explain to you the difference in the machines and how much money it would save in the long run and what his company can do for us as far as the maintenance and the warranties and trade-ins on the old machines and stuff. So, and then the other thing that we were looking at is because the elections administrator is housed in the overflow room where the landmen are, is to get a wall. It's a telescoping wall that when there's not elections going on, it would divide that room so that the elections administrator would have kind of their own space. It's a high ceiling, so you can't put a permanent wall up, but it's a telescoping wall. And so you'd have to get two, I think, one from each end because it's such a long, narrow room. And then Carl Bonofsky came out to give us a bid on a desk workstation for that because it has a desk in there that's just, it was a computer desk from the courthouse and an old conference table. And he has not gotten back with me with a quote on that yet. So if I could present it, maybe the next time, that would be better for that.
Okay. Sounds great.
And put in for a salary deal, or we want to wait on the salary?
We're waiting on all positions for salaries.
Carol, with the new, if they pass that, but I guess the Texas voter ID thing, you have to have a special sliding card to verify some type of machine or just?
No, all they're going to have to do is show their ID with their voter registration card.
But we don't have nothing to verify, we get to slide through or?
Not unless on the new equipment. If we get the new equipment, that may have something like that, but we don't have it now. It's not a necessity.
Thank you.
Okay, let's go to district clerk.
Yes, we have, again, the updated ones. I wanted to wait till I got to the place in their folder so they could, in a second.
It's not.
So,
No, we're not. Trying to make it easier. Okay, on my first request, I think on the office expense, I have down like 1,000. Now I'm thinking, I thought I overshot that, and I want to lower it. And I think 500 should be.
Should we lower
I think that I
Wanna go-
don't need that much.
You want to go from 6 to 65, not to 7?
No, from 1,000, yes. from-
Why don't you think you need that much? Stuff?
Well, I
What
still,
changed?
I have another big purchase to make once I have time next month. I want to do all that before October with the money that I do have. I think that I'll be okay. As far as paper, I'm not going to need as much as I did. I do, what does get me is the civil suits that we do have now. They're, these oil and gas civil suits, they're not one jacket anymore. I have maybe 2 that I know of that have taken about, one whole roll of my filing system. We're starting to get boxes. And so I don't think that I need, what I'm ordering more now is the jackets, the docket sheets for, and I think that's in one of the second page of my request. That's my increase, is, on that, the docket sheets, the additional jackets for one suit. Because I feel like the 1,000 I overshot it, so I don't think that I need that much. I'm thinking maybe 500. So you'll want to just, X that and
X what?
the 1,000.
And you want to reduce it to?
Yes.
Just back to the original 6 that it is now?
No, plus just 1,000 instead of the 500 instead of 1,000.
So make it 6,500.
Yes, sir. I'm not looking at that. I'm clarifying.
Yeah, it's 65.
Okay. So I'm just. And on 4260, the mileage, I do have separate. I have 4260 mileage, 4270, the conference expense. We make a lot of trips to the Fall City National Bank to deposit the monies in the registry of court. The receivership cases, excess proceeds when I have to have the bank issue checks for me to. Child support deposits also, I have weekly deposits, but what we're seeing more, the trend is these monies that I have to deposit into the registry from this oil and gas unknown receivership cases. So we make the trips to the bank, and then also I have all my conferences that and workshops that I are planning to attend for the upcoming year, and I gave you what I didn't do was put the month or what have you, but I have where we're going to, the girls go, my deputies, 2 of them will go to the Hill Country Conference this year in Kerrville. There's 2 that I didn't want to make this past year that I really do want to make this year, and that's the UT School of Law continuing, and I think that's in San Marcos again. And I know it's very informative. We're required to get what, our 20, so we have to, they are very informative, and we really do want to make these. So that's the,
How come on this copy machine, why you know why you got a 35-page per minute monochrome digital, and the one for the other clerk is 55 pages per minute?
maybe we didn't have the same.
Everything else is just the same except for the sheet capacity, the stapler, puller, all the punch, network print, scanner, they were all the same. I'm just wondering now. One's a
Just copies
164
faster.
month or 63 month rental, 15 cents a copy is yours, and hers is 13 cents a copy, 30 after 13. I just wanted to zero,
The one for the county clerk is a faster copy machine.
so.
It's 55.
I wanted to replace what, this one is our old reliable, that the district clerk's office has had for I think 13 years or what have you, and we have less trouble with that one than we do with our new one. So I asked him for the new, yes, for that same, the Toshiba 35.
I'm
So that's the copier. And then my last one is the request for a part-time. Now, I know, I'm not thinking, I want a part-time summer help. And I did request the 32 hours. But now, I don't know, I'm thinking high school, so I don't think that they would have a problem. I don't think I'd have a problem finding a high schooler to do the 29 if I have to, bump it down some. And I gave you I'm looking at 11 weeks. I don't want to, I'm good with one. And I'm looking at the June 2nd through August 15th. And it's just like for the deep cleansing, cleaning, I need to clean these files. We just don't have the time. And when I work after hours, it's work. It's not to clean the files, the books, arrange the files, shredding, all the other things that they can help us out with.
That would be under minimum wage,
I have 8 here, but it won't be that then. One.
be about 750.
775 is
775.
That is it. Any questions?
No, the request for the part-time is 29 hours, a high school student, 11 weeks, June 2nd to August 15th, with at minimum wage. That's the only request for part-time.
And that's the only time that we want that. It's going to be there until the summer.
The amount for the request for the new copier is, with the last state discount and trading is $74.98.
Yes. That's the discount and the trade. That's it. Thank you.
Thank you. Can we go now to JP1?
Would it be okay if Judge Mazekwa went first?
That's fine.
Thank you.
Okay, the one side is just basically a copy of what I turned in. The other side, one of the things that we're going to be asking for is for actual mileage. I'm going first because I actually put it down in paper, sat down with all my forms, all my death certificates and everything as to how much mileage we put in as a JP. Okay, I turned in 25 trips bringing in reports and deposits. I went 54 times to the jail to magistrate, and I had 9 different locations that I had to go in for inquest. And this is just from January 1st to December 31st of last year. So that's 3,651 miles. So that's money that's basically coming out of our pockets. Years ago, we were getting a $500 salary, travel expense. But the way I look at it, it needs to be per incident. What I'm requesting is that we have to turn in an expense, put down exactly how many miles we put, and getting reimbursed for exactly what we did. It's going to be different. Some of us are going to have more one month than the other. We're all different. We have different precincts. I have to come further this way every time I come to the jail than Daisy does. She may have to go further out into her precinct because she's got Gillette now. Okay, so it all averages. But I'm asking that that be done as a line item expense, not as an addition to the salary, because it is going to be so different. Okay, that's the one thing. The other thing that I'm asking for is an additional part-time clerk. The reason it's for a part-time clerk is because the girl that I have works for the library in the afternoon, and she's too good to give away. I'm not going to trade her in for somebody that'll take part-time. She's too well trained in, it's too hard to train everything that we have to deal with. So if I can just get somebody to come in for some hours in the afternoon, it would just be a minimum of about a maximum of $12 hours a week at, I would say $10 an hour, because this person is only going to be coming in to a stack of paperwork.
she's gonna be having all the tickets that need to be put into the book, all the complaints that need to be filed. She's not gonna be just sitting there and answering the phone, or just sitting there in case somebody walks in. She's gonna come in, do the hours, as much as she can get done, and then she'll be gone. So I'm asking that she get paid accordingly. As far as the rest of my budget, I've got the travel that we spoke about. I'm adding $500 to the office expense because as you can see from the bottom, the graph, I went in and I looked at 2010, 2011, 12, and 13. My caseload increased 30% from 2010 to 11, 18 more percent from 2011 to 12, an additional 24% from 12 to 13. So you can see by the graph how much our, and this is probably going to be pretty true for all 4 precincts, how much we have increased. I have added 500 for supplies because we're going to need the extra paper and ink cartridges mostly. Telephone expense should be about the same. Conference expense should be about the same. The computer, we are getting a new computer that's already figured into this last budget, but I'm putting $1,000 for an emergency in case one of the other ones goes down on us, in case one of them is pretty aged. The building expense, I'm only going to put 500 because last year the 1,200 was for the deck. And so that's why that was in there. This year, it's just going to be, I know I'm going to have a repair to a lock probably, but that's just for small things like say if I have to fix the lawnmower or something along that line of repairs. Office expense, I always put a $500 for emergency. Utilities, I'm going down to 800 because that's an actual how much it was. Last year I was just guessing because we hadn't been there a full year. So that's exactly about what it takes. The bonding, same, and that should be it.
One question, I know you have a part-time at 16 hours and then you want another one for 12, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Right.
But you have one working for you now, you're just going to increase and hire another one?
Right, because like I said in the beginning, I don't want to lose her because she
Right.
works at the library in the afternoon. So I'd rather just bring somebody
Someone
in
else
that's
in
just
for
going to
this.
cover what we need help with.
Good.
Not do all the basics, you know, Donna's there, she does all the computer, the reports and everything. What I need is somebody to come in and do what I'm taking home to do.
All right.
And the
Okay.
computer training, that's, you had 2,500, but that's what y'all had last year, that's gonna,
The
What's that
computer
for?
expense,
no, on the back second page.
oh, I didn't even write a copy. That's pretty much the same as last year.
Yeah, it's not gonna be up, you don't think, or?
If I haven't gotten an estimate yet, they usually send it later in the year, so I don't think
There's
there's all.
software maintenance.
Yeah, that's what I mean, but I mean, you mean,
We don't know of any increase yet.
and then, but you have enough supplies and stuff for your office? Now, I know y'all all cover each other. I mean, when one's gone, or y'all rotate, I guess y'all will rotate, do it.
On the weekends, we have
And
a
that's not gonna be
rotation.
extra expense on one or the other for your,
No, the only thing that we cover for each other would be like if there's a magistration at the jail or if there's a death.
yeah.
So that's not gonna involve any paperwork.
Yeah, okay.
Paper-
That's just mileage.
Just mileage. That's why I
What
think
is
that,
the Zoin
That's what I'm
mileage rate?
thinking.
That's what I was fixing to say, the current IRS rate is 56.5 cents. I know Caroline has calculated it at 58.
I just guesstimate. So you're looking at right about 2,000 is what it would have been for that year that I averaged out. And like I said, we're just trying to get, you know, it wouldn't be just exactly the hours that you know, the miles that you put in.
It would not be a salary supplement. They would have to file a reimbursement claim by submitting a travel log.
Each exact mile.
Correct.
This is just an estimation.
Correct.
All this is an estimation.
Right.
It's just an estimation.
Purchase order, you're like, when we
Yeah,
go.
just turn in your.
Or,
Turn in
or
first
You
order.
would just do a spreadsheet with whatever events you had during that month. You know,
Maybe I can
office
do the same
jail
thing, too.
on Saturday, June 30th. You know, inquest, blah, blah, blah. Do a spreadsheet, total the miles times whatever the going mileage rate is, and then we could pay off of that. You wouldn't have to fill out.
And that would be for anything we would have to come in and do, like after hours, speed travel, that we have to do. Or inquest.
Yeah.
I think Caroline's,
Yeah.
right. The way that Caroline's presenting it is
Yeah, just
inquest,
punch your
death
trip button when you
scenes.
go
reports deposits, of course,
So
she has the
basically,
mileage all
everything we
done.
have.
You may, every month, you may have 100 miles one month you may have 500 miles, whatever the case would be. The same thing, you know, and it depends on where you have to
Well, yeah,
go.
it depends, because if, Caroline, you may have to go from Fall City to Rungy to do an
Yeah.
inquest.
On the
If
weekend.
you're on call that weekend, or
That's
I may
it.
have to go all the way to Gillette, so it's going to vary.
Yeah, it's gonna
Which
vary.
Caroline's and Kathy's would be more because they have to travel to come in and make deposits. Where you're right here, David would also get the mileage for that.
Right.
You know, we'll turn this in once a month, or do I hit a certain point?
Whatever we decide,
Or
if it
quarterly?
was, if she would prefer it quarterly or once a month, that's.
Monthly would be
fine.
best.
And the technology fund
keep track
that y'all
of it.
have, y'all get something for technology
Yes,
fund?
there's a JP Technology Fund, yes.
And
Out of every case that's filed, there's a fee in there.
does that go to each judge or does it go
It's
into
in a
one big
joint
fund?
It's in a joint fund for JPs, but it is restricted on what it can be used for.
It's separated.
We receied it in separately, but it's all.
Right, but it's in
Yeah.
one
All in the
fund.
same
And what can it be used for? Because I really don't know.
Technology.
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 Okay, like a camera
Computers.
for the JP?
Yes.
Like when they
Computers.
do computer training, if they have to
Training.
purchase computers, if they, purchase a copier fax combination, anything that's technologically.
laptop.
If they go to some training and it's not 100% technology, we take the percentage that's technology of the agenda and kind of take it out of the JP Tech Fund.
So,
So like some of the, Caroline said something about a computer,
yeah.
that could come out of the.
That's what I was kind of getting at, is that if they needed an iPad to make their thing with, they could purchase that or whatever, or something to do their work,
Yes.
as long as it's technology oriented.
Correct.
Or if you needed a camera for your offices, so for, in like you, when you're out in the country, that's for a security thing or something, that could be considered. And then, as
Well,
well as when you have a court thing, you can sit there and maybe have that court videotape while you're doing something too, if you know. I mean, it was asking. Don't watch too much Fox, I guess. It is weird, you know.
We're small,
Security.
we're more like Times Square.
Judge Judy!
But like something for like security, like for cameras or whatever in this building, because he's out there. So is could that come out of the
That would come out of
courthouse?
courthouse security.
That will come out of courthouse security,
Right.
not from the technology.
Yeah, but that's what I'm asking, because I got concerns.
Because they're outside the courthouse.
And even too, from their technology monies, they could also pay their software licensing fees, maintenance, et cetera, out of that also.
Okay.
I just have to say something.
Do what?
I just want to say something
Here
before I
we go,
step
here we
down.
go.
I'm sitting there and I'm watching everything get padded and padded and padded, and I've watched the last year where they've amended the budget year after year after year. One more time. I've been doing this longer than anybody here. I got 25 years, and I've seen 25 budget years. And I've seen the years where they were asking us to decrease because the money wasn't there. In every decision that y'all make and that you approve, please think into the future. Think like when the uranium stopped and all that money was gone. Had your your security. Don't let people just come up here, well, we have the money now, I'm gonna get it. Well, you know what, that's an 06, let's get a new pickup anyway. Let's not think that way. Let's pretend this is our money, and we're saving it for our future, because it's our children's future. Let's be careful, because in the future, 10, 20 years now, when this oil field is gone, your successors are going to be sitting there having to decrease this budget, and it is going to be hard as heck. So, I won't be around that time. But just please keep that into consideration, because
It's like, I agree with what you're saying, the same thing that everybody comes up here and brings up budget, I ask this question, exactly, what is your goal with the whole budget? What is your goal for every department? So I'm gonna get you copier, my goal is to make more copies? What's the ultimate goal, is to provide
just
that
make sure
service?
everybody substantiates everything, because if we start padding too much, the people that are going to be taking our places are going to have a hard time decreasing their budgets or their workers. So that's why I'm just asking for the part-time helper as well, so if my load decreases, I can just do away with that second part-time.
Right.
Okay?
Judge, believe it or not, I was thinking a little while ago when I went back, when we were doing this, when we had 500,000, 600,000, not 25 million or 20-something million. I remember when we were fighting for $100, $50, and I see now, bringing in all these amounts, we're talking about 10,000, 5,000, 8,000, this, that. I went to that, Judge. I was, just thinking about it to myself, I was like, man, I've been through it when we were dirt poor. And then now that we have money and everything, it's real easy to ask, but I also thought about in the future, they're gonna keep padding and padding and padding and padding and padding, and when we don't pad, people get pissed off. But the thing is that, like you said, our successors 10, 15, 20 years from now, I'm not gonna be here either, but, they're the ones that are gonna have trouble when they start letting people off, firing people and everything, it's gonna be hard. I understand. Thank you. Well, we weren't dirt poor, but we were pretty poor. JP one. Okay, I'm sorry.
Let's see, starting on the office expense, presently I'm budgeted for 900. A little over, and that this amount of 1,026 doesn't include some recent bills that just went in. I have 1,100 increase, that's due to the increase in the caseload, but also, in the event I will need to possibly get some office chairs furniture, so that was included in that. The out-of-county travel would be the mileage that Mr. Zephyr talked about. The conference expense, I increased it $800 for my clerk to go to school. My computer expense, I've left the same at $23.50. And everything is the same. Now, as far as the office rent, the court is aware that there is a possibility that the court would be moving to a new location, so.
I've talked with the city over there, and they're not, the way I understand, they're not thinking of asking you to leave.
Then it'd be $3,600 a year rent. unless they go up.
Reason that they may have given you that information, when I heard the mayor did not know what was over there, so he was doing a walkthrough, see who's and what, and that's what I was told. But then again, that doesn't mean that can't change again. But
Well, that's $3,600 a year is what the county pays the city for rent of that portion of the rent.
Kathy, do you have any idea on what the cost would be associated with the potential chairs? Just because when furnishings have been purchased in the past, it was a big uproar. And so I'd rather break furniture out of office supplies because they aren't expensive.
No, actually, if another office has some extra chairs, that would be great. If they have
So a couple of
some
$100.
desks, it would be great. Presently, the desk that my clerk uses and I use, that was the police department side, and, they may want.
you never know.
So. But to answer your question, I don't have a fix it, but someone has to, that's fine.
And your 7,000 is good for the term.
Yes, sir.
Judge, on the auto travel, that's gonna be my mileage, right? Or each one I'm gonna need,
Right, it's a 2,000, it's.
Give or take.
Give or take, never know. I mean, like you said
We'll probably
earlier,
have to
one
put a
month it
certain
might be
amount.
100 miles, one month it might be.
you probably have to put a certain amount into y'all's budget for that line item, but you may not use it, but you're not too clear like 2,000 each, but you
Yes.
gotta, one might use 500, one might use 1,500.
Absolutely.
Thank you. JP,
Caroline talked about the travel allowance. The only thing I increased was my conference expense, because I have 2 clerks. And it's basically going to be eliminated.
The older I get, the further the paper gets like that.
Here.
So Daisy said in 3, you're asking for 2,000 for your training,
No, we're asking
for 5, total 5. On the second page.
Luana, what expense is that?
Computer.
The second
computer
page.
Computer training, yeah.
That's out of their JP clerk funds that y'all have always budgeted something.
Okay, that's
For
for-
computers or
Okay.
for your Hill Country software training that
Okay.
clerks go to in the summer.
So is that for our technology fund? Is that from our technology fund? Okay, yes. I want to increase it
5,000.
to 5. Yeah, I have it at 3, but I want to increase it to 5. So increase it by 2 more. But that's not,
That's not normal general fund budget. That's from the specific.
yeah,
fees.
that's not taxpayers' money. That's
Comes out
from
of
our,
fees.
that comes out from our technology fee.
So
You'll
you're
notice
also,
at the top of the page under budgetary accounting, it says JP Court fees, JPCF. That's the technology fund. Because Daisy had 2 pages. All JPs had 2 pages.
Yeah.
The front one is from general fund taxpayer dollars. The second one is from the court fees that they collect that are specific to expenditures that are qualified on what to be spent.
so on your office expense, where it's office expense maintenance, you've got $7,775.
It should be 775, I'm sorry.
I'm gonna say, we should buy a TV or something.
I did, I have a TV.
775.
It's 775, I'm sorry.
I was gonna say,
Yeah, I saw that.
okay, I know this might be a topic of conversation, but I see you have your telephone, your cell phone at a line item, right? It's not considered part of your salary, right?
Yes, it is.
Why?
All
Yes.
county officials receive a cell phone allowance.
You know,
Then why is it considered income?
Because it, based on IRS guidelines, it is a perk given to you, and it is subject to Social Security, Medicare, income tax, retirement, et cetera. It goes through payroll. Shelby, if you looked at your pay slip, you can see
You
that.
see it?
I never see my pay slip.
Daisy, are you replacing the church fee done separately?
My
Not
husband.
not as part of the salary?
Should look at it.
No,
You get it, it's 46.
So you're charging me to drive
I mean,
home
he's
truck
just
on the road
asking,
too?
yeah.
same as
No, you-
Yeah, no, I'm not asking for it to be next month.
Everybody's
I don't know if
is
everybody else
working out
included it, but
I'm just asking, because that's been,
No, but
it's,
Pete just asked if she was trying to get it out of her salary. It's listed up at the top within. Those first 10 items, 8 items, whatever it is, down to retirement, that's going to be determined after we get the salary survey. Looking at that, Shelby, have you talked about the wording? Do we know anything? Do we
I
know-
haven't, I'm gonna try to call them this week or next week, rather, because I've been kinda out of that thing.
As we all have.
Yeah. I just initiated it, and it's a contact point, and all of a sudden,
Well, I talked to him a couple of weeks ago.
thank you.
A few departments that have not turned in. He sent, Barbara sent me an email of questions he had, and I forwarded them to the department heads because I couldn't do descriptions. And I actually called him because I think he was here a couple of weeks ago, and none of us were made aware of that there was a meeting. And just wanted to know if there was anything that I could help him with. And he said there were some departments that haven't answered him, and I think I'm probably one of those departments, but.
Well, as far as I know, he has not ever sent out the job descriptions that we were supposed to tweak. I know after he was here, I got an email from Mr. Percy. So he was,
Yes, yes.
and he was asking for some clarifications on salaries, which I provided to him, but I haven't heard anything since.
Yeah.
So
we need to get on that.
Talking.
Because I would really like to see that just as soon as we can. And maybe it's the fact that we're just issuing check for their first invoice today too, that they're sitting there going, we're going no further until we get paid.
Any other questions for me?
Thank you, Judge. JP, four.
Before we discuss that, I want to talk about what I want to add. Dang, it's nice. These are just trends as far back to 2010. What I want to add is, we're having to clean our own office. And I want to add a line item for a custodian. And a groundskeeper. In the past, we've had people do community service, however, we're having a hard time them wanting to come back to do the community service.
You mean when you give somebody community service, you're the judge, they don't want to come back?
They're not coming back, they're choosing to go somewhere else.
Issue a warrant, make them get back. Put it on.
They're completing their hours, but they're choosing to do it somewhere else.
You tell them what to do, can't you tell them what to do?
They have that option, we.
Don't give them that option.
Can y'all restrict them to work? Can y'all restrict them to your,
I tell them, you do the crime here, you do the time here.
And they do them in the precinct, yeah, but it's not at my office.
Well, they don't have to stay at your office, like, you can't, like, tell them, you know, you're gonna
Command
do.
them to do it.
I cannot know if
I do. You do come here.
you can, we can.
I do.
I'm just
I would just wonder if they're really completing service then, or somebody just signing off on them.
I'm making a.
That's something else. That's something else.
Because the problem, when I had that problem, when I was doing a lot of years of community service, they started not coming in, and
When you were
everybody would fix up like
supervising
supervising,
community
yeah.
service, you
Well, no, well, you know, when I was doing supervising, I'm sorry. I had 12, 15, 16 people wanted to come in. When I got there was 1 or 2 people. Finally, I talked to Sheriff Jalufka. He went ahead, and I think he issued out some warrants on a few people, and I started getting more people on there. But after that, they started doing it all the same. People just don't, I understand your problems, people just don't care. But I just looked at the other judges because I wanted to see maybe if y'all make the people do it, if y'all set the community service, y'all make
I
them
do,
come.
I've had people come here and I supervise myself.
That'd be something that maybe.
It's something we can consider, but then that leads us into the next one with
Okay.
the hours of operation. We're Monday through Thursday, 8 to 12. So that's only 4 hours that they'll be able to be supervised if there ever is a community service. What I
They
added,
open Monday through Thursday,
Monday through Thursday, 8 to 12,
or about Friday?
office hours are closed. I can be there, I'll answer phones, I can do clerical stuff, but that prevents me in the event that I'm needed to come magistrate, make a deposit, or do other judge stuff. Those are
You
missed
got on
opportunities.
here that you want to make your
Clerk
clerk
full-time.
full-time.
And,
And then she can sweep the floor and do all that.
Okay, full-time, you're open Monday through Thursday.
Monday through Thursday,
8 hours a day?
4 hours.
Oh, I'm sorry, yeah, you're right.
8 to 12, Monday through Thursday, that's 16 hours a week.
Okay, so her full-time would be 16 hours a week?
No, I'm looking to make it full-time, 8 to 5, Monday through Friday.
Okay, I'm sorry.
That's what
Then
I'm
maybe we
asking
can make a
for.
deal with the city to come by and mow your grass.
If we can find a
It's not
city
maintenance.
or the county,
Sir,
that would be good.
Judge?
Mr. Schindler said that we could get the city to mow the grass outside. And I said if we can get the city or the county, that
Don't
would
have to
work.
report them once a year. Don't
Fire
rain,
department.
there.
I can go to
The fire department, it's on the other side, right?
Fire department's there, but if it starts on fire.
That's a city building.
It's a city building, but
I get to go.
that's something that isn't being taken care of by the city. The maintenance outside.
So is Joe our maintenance guy not maintenance for all buildings? Have you got this coming in?
In the county?
I don't think he's gonna travel all the way.
So we're gonna pay mileage.
He gets mileage.
Hey, there's mileage in the
There's mileage
budget,
in
he
his
just
budget.
won't prepare a request for reimbursement. He won't keep a log.
Well, we'll get him to come on there too.
And I'm not looking for every night or every day to be there. I looked at it like maybe twice a month. We have a small office, there's not, it's just myself and the clerk, and then whenever we have court.
And again, we have a lady that cleans our office and this other office, like, and we get her over there once a month.
We
Plus,
already
if
have
that's something that
someone.
we can, I mean, you want to consider, I'd be okay with it.
We just have to order, we go over
So, now about the part-time employee, converting from part-time to full-time. What I provided you was trends far back from back 2010. The number I think you want to look at are the cases being filed. From 2010, it was 320. Last year was 746. We're almost not even halfway through the year based on this chart, and we're halfway through the number for 2012. What's not noted on here are those missed opportunities to serve the community, which is anything from 1 to 5 or on Friday. Any mail that's delivered, we miss those opportunities, complete the payments, close out the cases. People that drive by that want to take care of their business.
because she only works 4 days a week.
4 days a week, Monday through Thursday, 8 to 12.
And so now if you put her on full-time, she's gonna work 8 days, 5 days, 8 hours, 40-hour week.
That's what I'm hoping for. That's what I'm hoping for. Also, to the number, in the event that the position is not accepted, how are we going to recruit a new employee based on the salary that we have currently? So that's why, those are two sides.
You know, Daisy tried to school me one day about what some of this term would mean, and I can't really remember. Active cases, tell me what active cases are.
Active cases are the cases that have not been like capious warrant status.
So they're still, what, you still have to do what? with-
We're like, they're either in a payment plan.
There's some pending cases that
Okay, so you got 378 on payment plan?
No, not on payment, they're just pending.
Oh, pending.
Yeah.
Okay. And the inactive?
Which number are you looking at? The
I'm
active
looking at the
cases?
current one for
The
that.
current- For the month of May.
Yeah,
Inactive are all, they're warrant status.
so they're out.
They could be from as far back as 2006, 7.
And how long do those stay inactive? Forever?
Until they come and take care of them.
Or they find them somewhere?
They find them, or, it's.
So
what's the-
just
the
in
state-
your,
state letter?
just in your precinct, year to date, or from, as you got 2,205 that go back to the last 3
No,
years?
that's the total then for the month of May.
I know, but the total inactive.
Well, it's 285 inactive.
Okay, but you look all the way across.
That's for the year.
Okay, you got 2,205 that we need to find?
No. As of the end of May, month of May, it was 285 inactive.
But the
yes.
total,
That's for the year. That doesn't, I mean, that's just a column for the year. As the end of the month of May, there was 285 inactive cases.
So if you
So
look
the
from April to May,
2,205, only 285 are still active. The others have been settled?
378 are active.
Yep, okay. The others have been settled?
Correct.
so it was 2,205, that's the total for the year, but 285 is what's really out there right now.
Correct. And then also too, to take in consideration regarding the hours of operation for our office are, if we have court the following week, we're having to play catch up come the next week, come Monday. If we have court that day, our office hours are 8 to 12, so we're going to be over here and unavailable over there. So what, 4 half days, we're going to only have 3 half days to make up that from the previous week and then the coming week.
So have you talked to Sean, does she want to do full-time?
I've spoken to her. She doesn't want to. That's why I put it on there that in the event that she chooses not to accept the position full-time, how would we recruit?
You had to hire one.
Right,
And do away
with
her.
all competitive,
If
with
it's a
competitive
choice,
salaries in the
either she
area.
wants it or she don't.
That's why I put
Then
that
you hire
number.
another one, 'cause you
Right,
want
but based on
full-time.
the number that I put.
You don't want a part-time, but you want a full-time.
Correct.
So if she doesn't want to do the full-time job, you just have to hire you.
I kind of think sometimes we need to hire somebody in-house just to be like a rover, to take care of places whenever you need somebody to move around.
Yeah, but what happens when multiple people need them at the same time, and then you have
It's
heated
all on the
arguments.
priority, and
Everybody thinks there's-
your lack of planning does declare an emergency.
Sometimes emergencies
You'll have to
happen,
work
you
that out
can't
first.
plan them.
Right.
As in the birth of my grandson was supposed to be another 2 weeks from now, not 2 days ago. So how am I supposed to plan him to get early needing time off?
different issue. You control your job.
Any other questions? All right, thank you.
Anything?
County attorney.
Now the county attorney.
Everybody's computers are down.
Yeah.
I mean, copy machine.
Yeah, everybody's got a copy machine broke today.
The major part of the budget request that I made has to do is in personnel for the office. I'm asking that the hot check person be transferred to a full-time position and also asking for a second person in the office. Objectively, I would like to go to a paperless system in 2013 and 14. I need somebody full-time, probably for up to a year, to do the scanning and getting the backlog back into some kind of shape. We are making progress with the backlog of cases. The county clerk's office has been very helpful in directing us and helping us get our records in some kind of form. The hot checks are a big issue and need to be addressed. There's about 500 of those outstanding at this time. They're not as old as they used to. We've gone back and done a lot of the old ones and got them off the docket, but we like some more to complete. There is a expenditure down at the bottom, a request that has to do with $8,500, and that is, I'm anticipating that there would be a need if we get the jail built before the budget year 2014 to move our office, hopefully to either the office where the sheriff is at this time or where we are presently located. Those expenses are I learned a very valuable lesson. I got baptized in the move this time, and I don't want to make that mistake again. So if at the idea of getting chastised long range, that basically is my request. We're making progress. We need some additional help, especially in the check section. At some point, I think we're going to consolidate and use one person to handle the checks and the overload also. I'm not of the same opinion that most folks have, and that is when we hire an employee at the sheriff's office, not so, in the county government, that is an insurance that we should work from now until we die. I think it's a spot to work. I should hopefully be able to hire an employee for a year with the understanding that it'll be for a year to help me get caught up, and at that time,
Shouldn't that be labeled under a part-time position then?
well, I didn't do that because I didn't know whether or not that would be something. I just put it in the budget request this way in hopes that I could accomplish what I need to do in 12 months and not have to do it any further. A lot of this is going to depend upon space availability. We don't have space now to hire a secretary, either one, other than the two that we have this time. So a lot's going to depend upon space issues and whether or not we can get some additional space within the budget year 2013-14.
There's a 2011-12, it shows that there was a line item for assistant county attorney. Are you using any attorneys for outside work, especially these government contracts?
I'm using, the Commission Court gave us the ability to spend some money on the jail contract. And I have hired a lawyer to help me get that contract correct. And I think we'll have that ready for submission to give to Luana sometime this afternoon or Monday for publication.
Do we need maybe to put some in there for just contingency or?
Well, what I understand is that in these budgeted items like the jail or the courthouse or the road, for example, that there's money available in each of those budgets. I'm going to build the jail contract for the mileage that I had when I went to Austin and when I went to San Antonio. And I think that the Commission Court gave me the ability to do that. And I believe Luana indicated that there is some room in those budgets.
Those funds will be reimbursed back to the county from the bond monies once they're sold.
I mean, if that's the case, we needed to have a contingency, we needed to do the contracts.
Well, if there's going to be contracts, or in the case that for some reason you might be involved in one thing and we might need to have county court for another, do we need an assistant or a substitute county attorney in the budget?
Not that we have to use it, but it just would be there.
Right.
We haven't planned for that, and maybe it's a good idea that we do it. So far, we've been able to schedule around what I have and work through when we set out the budget, when we set out the schedule the first of the year. We worked pretty well planned. I know Judge Shaw has appointed lawyers in one or two cases, but it was on temporary stuff that had to do with juvenile cases. And I'm not sure how we paid for that, but I know that on two occasions I've seen lawyers, and I believe I signed a bill on one, I'm not sure.
They're referring to late as a
Yes. It may be a good idea to move some of the money around. You understand, there's so much up in the air right now. We're building the jail, we're working on the courthouse. We are hoping that we're going to get DPS personnel that are going to increase one or two times, and we have to get out in the hall or out in the yard, and they can have that space, because we need DPS right now to do as much as we possibly can to help us with our traffic problems. So the sergeant has promised at least one additional person, and we are twisting as many arms as we possibly can to get that number increased sufficiently to get a sergeant in this area here. It takes a lot of political kissing. I think that's maybe the appropriate word. To get anything accomplished, and that's what we're trying to do. The big thing is, everything is moving so much faster than any of us have ever anticipated. As far as the caseloads, these justice courts, the numbers are just staggering. And the stuff that's coming through the county court has increased, but we can keep up with it if we can get caught up with what we've got. And you would be surprised how much can happen if we can all get on the same page. The clerk's office, the county clerk's office, for example, has helped us get our records in an order that we can start to work on, and we wouldn't have been able to do that were it not for the clerk's office. They happen to have everything in the computer. We have nothing in the computer. It's at almost zero at this time. We're scanning, but we are trying to keep up, or catch up with what we're trying to do.
And one, he's got, over here, you've got the, there's a line item where it has 10,000 for the substitute attorney. You can see that one at the bottom.
Right.
So you got some in there already.
It has, we have not used, well, we used some of it out there, didn't we? Use some of the items, some of the information, some of the,
You probably use
But I know we still have one payment that is pending as far as when we had assistant serve in June on court in December.
okay, that was. But I've tried, and most of the time I can make it. Sometimes I don't write on the calendar when Judge Villanueva sets court. And I've so far escaped jail, but I'm not sure that I'll make it very much time. So
Yeah, the other day, you may have been joking, but are you gonna need an investigator?
at times I think I do. I get aggravated because things don't get moved as fast as they're supposed to. And that's the reason why we
I believe that.
You told me to. Can you just tell Shelby?
But I was aggravated at that time sufficiently to say that I needed to. But I would like to reserve that in hope that those who are responsible for that part will take care of the business. Let me do mine.
Okay.
But I will be back if something will happen.
And your computer upgrades, you're looking at,
The computer upgrades, sir, has to do with the addition, if the Commissioner's Court gives us the ability to add an employee, there's no computer equipment for that employee. We have the scanners, the computers are all updated, everything that we have is in good shape. And I'm very thankful in that.
are you tied in Hill Country?
We're tied into hill country, and the beautiful part of where we are right now, when the county clerk's office puts something into the computer, we have the ability to access that, and then we pigtail off of that information and screen and can scan our files into the system, and then we can destroy those little paper files. So there's a possibility in a year's time. The federal government is paperless at this time. Some district courts in some of these jurisdictions, like Houston, San Antonio, Austin, they file their stuff email. And you can't file anything in federal court except that way. They will not accept paper. So everything is going that way. The state bar has indicated in the next 3 years that, not the state bar, but the judges that run the criminal justice system in Austin, that make the rules as how the courts around the state function, have indicated that they're going to go and force us into the same system that the federal system is in the next 3 to 5 years.
By 2000.
I think it's sooner.
Is that part of Tyler Technology too? or-
Well, there's different, there's
software providers out there.
but we all have to be by 2016.
We're being forced into, I think that probably I'm being drug kicking and screaming, but that's, we're gonna change it, or somebody's gonna change it for us, one of the two.
You have to get on board now or don't get on board at all.
That's right.
And you did request a full-time hot check clerk, correct?
Yes,
Mr. Hancock, as far as the space issues, if DPS comes in here with additional help, which has been discussed previously, and that limits your space, what options? I mean, we can't add more staff if you're going to have anywhere to put them. So-
I'm just not doing hiring about it.
Do we know of any options? If DPS gets full, where you might be going until the jail's built in 18 months?
To the yard, that's about the only place right
So we're
there.
going to buy 10?
Yes.
Top 10.
Walmart's got a good deal on pen. You can get a Walmart pen.
Just put it in.
There's a little extra room in the restroom.
At one point in time, Judge May had his desk out under the tree by the courthouse, and he felt that was appropriate.
Jamie's got some space, I've noticed down
We
there.
may have to get some portable building or something that.
I do think that if he goes full-time with just a hot check clerk, he does have enough room in DPS, because there's still 2 extra desks that are open right in there right now. And so Ms. Crabtree takes a full-time desk, but is only there 16 hours, 12 to 16 hours a week. So she occupies 40 hours of a desk, but doesn't use 40 hours of a desk. So if he goes to a full-time person, that person can use that exact same space and just be there 40 hours.
But then he was also talking about an additional administrative assistant.
He wants all kinds of things.
If I can get the room. You're never gonna get anything unless you ask for it. Remember that.
That's right, you can't be told no to do that.
That's right.
Okay.
If he had a hot check clerk to be full-time, she could also help him with administrative stuff.
Let me give you some ideas, and these are new ideas that they're kind of crazy. The hot check fee thing has been an issue for me for the last 25 years. I think the Commissioner's Court should be managing the whole system. I don't want money coming through my office. If I can figure out a way to keep from it, and I didn't have to handle money, the job would be so much better for all of us. But the fee fund that goes in should go to the Commissioner's Court as part of the general revenue. And the fees that are collected by the office are really collected by somebody who's employed by Karnes County. And they ought to be spent back into that process. That's just an attitude that I have, and most folks have opinions, and there's a lot of other parts that a lot of folks have. But the opinion is basically that until we have the ability to get a check in the system that's less than 30 days old and get it processed and get the notice out and get a warrant issued for somebody within 30 to 45 days, we are not going to do any good in Karnes County, because in 60 days, the fellow that wrote the check may be in Nebraska, and we sure ain't gonna go get somebody for $50, and it's a waste of time. So if we don't get high behind what we're supposed to do, we're never gonna get anything accomplished as far as the checks are concerned. That's just Herb Hancock. And with that, 50 cents, you can get a cup of coffee. Any questions? May I sit down?
Thank you, sir. Charlie Allen.
I never got one. We just now got that.
That's the update that the Ms. Franklin
Judge Rose, how come you get one application, it put you back in it, still do it. Thank you, ma'am.
Certainly, sir. Okay, as mine was not in your package, you now have it put in your little folder in the correct order. Office expense, I'm requesting an additional $1,000. We have had a lot of public records information requests. It's required a lot of copies. We keep copies of all receipts for auditing purposes. Therefore, we have used a whole lot more paper, printer ink, files, etc. So I'm asking for that additional $1,000 in that line item. Based on the projection of telephone expense, I've increased that also. The travel mileage, I want to leave that the same. Conference expense, I would like to increase that by $600 because I'd like to be able to attend the fall auditors conference also, as well as some other meetings throughout the year that would not necessarily require overnight stay, but would be conferences that would require registration and travel to and from. The computer expense, leave that the same at $9,000. That does include
possible computer replacement and/or printer replacement. If you notice, this year to date, it's, well, actually through May, it's 3,400. We're fixing to spend, or we just spent 1,600 in today's bills. I know we'll have another 1,600 in September for our computer our software maintenance. But that dollar amount of the 9,000 also included some budgetary thoughts of maybe having to replace computers this year. So I'd like to leave it the same as
When's
the,
the last time you replaced your computer?
Michelle and I just got new ones 18 months ago, but the third one possibly maybe. And it's just a matter of, it won't be spent if it's not necessary, but rather than amending.
And I know that we maybe it's talked about the server over there at one time, but y'all, maybe that, or is that part of that whole new program?
Going to the cloud
Yeah.
situation, it's a whole new system if we go to that. Those price projections and discussion will come at a later workshop. I did include the final line of furnishings. Currently, there is 2,000 in my budget that was requested last year for furnishings for my office. I don't know that that's actually going to get ordered and taken care of in this year. If it doesn't, I would like to carry that 2,000 in next year. If it does, we'll take that 2,000 off.
You can get a longer desk.
I'm going to get a longer desk, a deeper desk, a higher desk. you know.
One that's got, sits down in it so it don't pile up so high.
Why was your computer expense so high, Luana? Why did, y'all got new, you and Michelle got new ones this year?
No, if you notice, we've only, through May, it only spent $3,458. The budget is $9,000, and we put that in there for printers. We had to get 2 new printers this year, and if we had to replace our third computer.
Maybe that's what we need to do, is just all of us do that, put that in there so we don't have to go through that next time. Because
So I would like to leave it at that, although 99.9% it won't necessarily
we
be
might need to
necessary.
amend our budgets to do that same
No.
thing. Not when we're with the amendments.
Not just your thing, but you know, when everybody gets a printer, can we all get the same one? Basically, I mean,
So the same toner works throughout.
for everything, so we don't have, I went to Michelle's office one day, there was a 56 cartridge, and some other numbers that nobody has anymore.
Yeah, like with my office, I had to have a mixer in order to print checks.
Well, I'm talking about the everyday printers.
Right. Some of us have network printers, so they can float. Others just have the desktop inkjet printers, the cheaper printers.
That we can just all need to have the same one, because
Of course,
just,
you pay more for those network-capable printers, et cetera, rather than you do for the inkjets or things like
yeah,
that.
but if
It
you
depends
buy,
on the usage.
but if you buy an inkjet, buy the same one.
Right.
So we
And
don't
that's
have-
what's transpired in the
Yeah,
last.
slowly it's getting.
And that, you know, Luana, that's probably something I need to do on computer expense too, because then I wouldn't have had all these amendments if I would have had a cushion like this cushion that you had in yours. So I want to have mine to do that same sort of thing. We're not implementing that, so I might need 5,000. And I want to ask you another question. Who told you about phone expense? You know, I know you have an insight with that phone thing. Are phones going up? Is there like, do you think?
No, but if you look at what's been spent to date through May 31st in my department specifically for phones, it's right at $800. All I had in the budget was $850.
You think service is going to go up
So
there?
that's
Are we
why-
looking at some increased service cost, you think?
Well, we have our regular phone lines. We pay a percentage of the fax in the building, plus we pay a portion of the internet access
Okay.
in the building. And some of those prices increased over this year, and so that's why. But if there's any changes that anybody wants to make to things they've already presented, please put it in writing so it can be passed on to everybody and they'll understand
You
it.
know, I don't understand the phone system anyway. We don't have a phone system there. Dial 1 if you want the auditor, dial 2 if you want this, dial 3.
Yeah,
Yeah, we have internal.
after hours.
After hours, it's a general answer in our building. If you dial like the tax office, it'll say, this is Karnes County Annex, dial 121 for the county auditor, dial whatever.
Because I always get Gene.
Right.
145.
There you
Yeah,
go.
that Tracy's specialty is in the
So that's all for mine.
And see, I think what I do is I budget mine so tight, I don't have that room for that cushion. Like if you only spent 3458, you had 9,000, that would have helped, and that would have alleviated a lot of the problems this year. We'd have had amendments too.
Well, I'll still have probably right at 3,500 coming out of that between now and the end of the year. So it's not like I have 6,000 extra budgeted in there. position.
Even 2,000 would have done me happy with that, put us in all the situations we were in.
While you were out, we were discussing earlier, have you heard anything from Dr. Willie as far as the salary survey?
He said that he would contact anybody if he had any question, that he was writing job descriptions, he has counties he's comparing us to. All I have is the last update that I gave you guys in Commissioner's Court last time. And I know that he told me he had talked to Shelby, and he had told Shelby the exact same things that he had told me. And the only other deal that I was going to do was I was going to ask him about a computer information systems person full-time or an IT person full-time. I meant to do that yesterday. I did not get around to it. I will email him to request that.
Personally, I'm not sure that that's a necessary position as a full-time basis, maybe on a contract basis for the provider, because every day is not needed.
No, I don't think, you might be right there, but I know that we're paying $85 an hour for that. That's an awful expensive fee. When you,
Not if you go out there and market it, so.
we don't pay EMS that much. If you look at the breakdown, we pay, we're not paying ambulance service as much as we're paying computer.
Wilson County just went to when I saw the paperwork. I'm looking pretty.
Well, I know they've been talking about it, but
I don't know what the cost is, they're looking for.
I think DeWitt County and London and them are too. So we're all running into, how much are Jeff's bills total? I bet they run out into quite a bit of money, at $85 an hour. And like I said, when you punch that up, we're not even paying that for EMS services.
well, and a lot of things that Texas ContraFix is paying for also is actually equipment that he orders. It's not necessarily all for labor charges.
And that would give the county a benefit if anybody needed any help on their computers, or you didn't know how to use a program, or you didn't know how to do something, versus trying to sink or swim, or calling somebody else to figure it out. You'd have that computer information system person here all the time. Because we have, 100 people with computers probably? Quite a few people. There's quite a few computers in and out.
Probably not that, because not every sheriff's department has a
Computer. And that way that person can travel to the JP's office, they can travel to the road and bridge, they can travel here, and they'd be on full-time. We would have access to them. We wouldn't have to wait till nights and weekends to be serviced.
But we don't have to now anymore because Texas ContraFix is a full-time, daytime operation as well as needed after hours for like sheriff's department. But anyway, that's all I have.
Next, the county treasurer.
I'd like to thank the auditor for putting me last. Everybody wants to
You're
go
not
home. Just a couple of things that I'm wanting on office expense. I put a little asterisk on, I'm looking for a new printer, because if we go to the new software program, the printer that I have now will not talk to my new software, so that's a possibility. Also on that, I need a new chair because my backside is really starting to bother me. Money counter, it's kind of just a wish list on mine. Like today, I deposited several $1,000s in cash. And if I put in that money counter, it's a lot quicker for me to count it, to get it through on there. Telephone, I requested this last year, and no, we were going to put it in there last year, and then we found out that I could get another AT&T line, but I can't get another Avaya line, because he didn't leave enough room in there for us to grow. So I've been arguing with Mr. Freeman daily.
Can I ask you a question? What about that special projects line that was in there? Can you not have that space?
She was not on Avaya.
She was not on the phone
Oh,
system.
She's not committed to the phone system.
okay.
So he has agreed to come in when there's another job at the area, to come in and punch that line in there for me so I can go in. So I'll have to double everything on that.
Well,
If you call my office and I'm on the phone, you get a busy signal or it goes to my voicemail.
So it's just gonna be an extra line?
Yes, another line for it to roll over.
But nothing for your software or anything like that?
No.
She needs a rollover line though.
Yeah, because you
Oh,
need
I
to
agree.
work on. Yeah, if we have like a computer issue or something and we're calling Tyler Technology and it takes me 30 minutes to get through that problem, you can't call my office. You can do an extension to extension, but if you're calling me, you can't do that, so we
No,
doubled
you
up
need
on
to get
that.
that fixed. That's very important.
Travel and the conference, I upped that a little bit because just of where my conferences are going to be next year. On my computer expense, because if we go to the new software program, the licensing would probably be more. I'm also looking at, it'll be made in a different presentation, on doing time clock plus, where we will be clocking on and off on a computer and not doing hand time sheets. And what's going to happen with that, if we go to the new software program, we'll just punch a few buttons and everybody's time comes to our computer, and then we download it into payroll, and it's a lot quicker and a lot more accurate.
You got some guesstimates on that, I know you
Yes,
said.
and we're gonna talk about that when we do the capital outlay.
Okay.
Julie got her new computer, and my computer is good. I'm sorry, I got the new computer, Julie's is good, so we will not be needing a new computer. The other two are the same, the bond and the dues are the same every year.
Okay, Vi, go back to your office expense. You said that 4,000 includes a new printer at 2,000, new chair at 300, and a money counter at 500. If you take those out, because those are not expendable supplies, and we put them into office equipment or furnishings, that leaves $1,200 in your office expense line item. Will that be adequate? The current budget is
1,500, well, the 1,500 would probably what we would need.
You're gonna move that out.
Yeah,
she's
pull
gonna-
out the printer, the new chair, and the money counter,
1,500,
and put 1,500 for office expense.
2,800 somewhere else.
Well, just make the total between the two of them 4,000. So just the
That would-
1,500 for the office expense and whatever is left to go in,
2,500.
go into the other one.
2,500.
That would be, if it costs us that, that would be putting $300 office expense, okay.
Office equipment
Where you putting 2,500?
Making a separate line item on the bottom,
on the bottom.
and put furnishings/equipment,
Because I think
Now, do the
the,
furnishings come from the buy board?
depends on what it is.
yeah,
Like the chair?
If it's available through the buy board, it's not necessary that you have to go through the buy board, because that's less than $50,000.
But what I'm getting at is, so, you know, instead of, like a school teacher, everybody gets the same chair.
Well, you don't have to, no,
Why?
because you don't have to.
Why?
some people are heavier than other people and need a stronger chair or
Then the
higher
athletic wellness
back.
program is not working.
Higher, it is for me, thank you very much. Higher back or lower
A good
back.
chair is gonna cost about 1,000.
Yeah, I mean,
Do I?
A good chair is gonna cost about.
Well, I looked
$500.
at Office Depot, and this is where I got the 300. It's like the medium-sized chair, the middle of the chair.
But
And I
if you
know,
like it, if you're comfortable.
yeah, exactly.
You're the one gonna sit in it.
Thank you, Ricky. I know it's gonna sit in it. And I know juvenile surplus some chairs. I don't know what they're like, and I may be able to steal one of theirs.
Some of that stuff, I don't go sit it and lean back.
Okay,
Don't go,
that's with mine. If I lean back now, I have to catch myself, because it goes back all the way.
and Sylvia
It's
was
broken.
gone when I did my budget. I probably need to ask her about her chair.
Yeah.
That one- But do not go sit so it doesn't lean back.
Okay.
and I need, this is, just kind of, I really wanted to ask you, what's a refreshment bar?
Oh, did you really put that in there?
Hey, I read it. I read everything. Now,
I
how do you?
I thought we needed some little kicks and grins on there.
Well, I was
I
gonna
just
say,
wanted a refreshment bar in my office, so whenever people come and complain about all you commissioners and the judge, love you too, but
You can get them a refreshment bar.
we want a refreshment bar.
if you get a refreshment bar, I'm fixing to go sneak over and raid it from time to time.
You were gonna go give her a hard time complaining,
Yeah,
just so you could
exactly.
answer.
Everybody be
I
hanging
thought
out
that
flies
was
on
good.
this.
Yes,
You're right, that's Crown Royal.
it works for me, see? You've got some good taste in you.
Calm your nerves.
There you go.
Did you have Freeman write you a bid? Make him write you a bid?
No, I keep arguing, because when he came in and upgraded our system, he did not walk into my office and ask me, do you need another line?
Well, the sad part is he didn't ask
He
anybody.
didn't ask anybody.
He put in the exact number.
So there's no room for growth.
Then he wanted to.
Well, and the other
But
thing,
he
you need to
knew
make sure you
that
have
to go back and
that.
redo
Yes.
it.
Because I have heard that people call your line and it's busy.
Yes.
And that's not your fault.
It's not my fault.
Maybe we need to evaluate everyone, we just have two. So we just have two lines in ours.
Yeah, and so if you call me and we've got a computer issue, you know, I had the bank to call me one time on my cell phone because we were on the phone with them and there was a question about the payroll deposit. And they couldn't answer, I couldn't answer them.
Mr. Chapman does that. He'll call on his phone. If you don't answer, he'll call on your cell phone. And
Yes.
by the time you're trying to answer,
Yes.
yes.
You know that Sean, that was, what was his name, was Smith, was here the other day from TAC? Remember, he was walking? Stan Smith?
Stan, yes, yes. Stan, yeah. he came
Stan
on.
Reed, whatever.
I can see where you got Sean Smith.
Anyway, he said that there's somebody at TAC that will come down and kind of just look at your system, see what you can make recommendations. He just looks at it, kind of does a study for it. Maybe you could call him and double check and see what he does. But the guy that comes in, he just looks at your systems and sees what you're doing with it, and then what chances are of upgrading or something would be more efficient to work out.
Well, I had no idea when they installed the phone system here, how much room for growth they left.
Yeah.
They didn't, and that was the building though. There was the wiring. Freeman went into a wiring problem, because that's one thing that, when we got here, I think Pete and I went and talked to Freeman about expanding everybody's phone lines, and the wiring in the building was not compatible to extra phone lines, and it was going to cost a fortune to be able to add those extra phone lines. And then we were going to have to involve Kruger and.
That's really a shame because Freeman came and talked to Alger when the planning phase was going on.
Well, but
So maybe that was
has nothing-
changed after the plan.
And, but then after the building started, and we were in here, Pete and I specifically came in here and talked to him, and we wanted to get extra phone, we wanted to have extra plugs.
Yeah, just room for
For
growth.
growth. And he said, if that would have happened prior to some of the wiring being put in, we would have been okay. But
We're lucky to get what we
got,
got. If we
and-
hadn't had Thomas the electrician, we would have had conduit in and get the wiring.
yeah, they left the computer wiring out completely.
Yeah.
So I don't think we can fault Freeman for that. He wasn't in, he wasn't our planner.
Yeah, but he just didn't, he never came into my office, and him and I got into a little discussion about it.
Make him discuss you with people. Hey, I wanted to ask you something too. James, you said these chairs are going. Well, I don't know.
They sent it all.
Yeah. Because they've been here for a long, for quite a while.
We might want to add a furniture budget to be able to replace some of these chairs.
Things,
Yeah. Yeah, like, I think we might want to do that.
we could probably surplus these and sell them for 50 cents or something.
Yeah, we could surplus them.
As David said, he'll take.
Or even, yeah, who's David?
So tell him.
He
Oh,
needs
yes,
furniture
yes.
for his office.
He has,
Nothing.
Junk. Yeah.
Well, I mean, but we need better chairs in here on the space or whatever.
Yeah, and that probably, you need to probably use these somewhere, pick the really good ones.
And in capital outlay, we can talk about that, ordering more chairs, whatever. I do need to talk to
Well,
Steve about a
there's a
chair.
lot of chairs available too through the surplus on Ackerman Road. I know the 2 guest chairs in Gina's office came from there. The 2 guest chairs in Michelle's office came from
Who
there.
went and got them? Did y'all look at them online and like they
No,
delivered
I
them?
reviewed them in person.
And then they just delivered them?
Find the office
No,
chair,
we went down Road and Bridge, picked them up.
any office chairs.
The
Yeah, they
guest
probably
chairs.
have some office chairs.
No, not, they have, they have everything. They have file cabinets, they have desks, they have everything.
Good.
It's kind of a hit and miss kind of thing.
I think it's probably furniture office.
But your chair you have in there probably would have been standing Cornerstein Savings and Loan starting.
Probably. Probably. Are we done?
Did we want to do a furniture budget?
That could be out of capital outlay.
Yes.
Discuss.
That way where people could get some chairs, where we could do some furniture here, we could order it together and get a deal versus everybody. Would you want to do that, if we could do it from the Ackerman Road people?
Yeah, I'll
If you needed an
chair.
office chair, could
Yeah.
we do it through capital outlay, and everybody that needed something could come tell us, and maybe we could get a better.
a good chair.
Well, I think these need to be replaced.
These
Tracy.
do for sure.
Yeah.
We're gonna stay
Like
here
they had
3
a
hours
place
at a
just
time.
the other than where I work out there. I don't.
You can probably get the ones that connect, like your doctor's office kind of thing too, I don't know.
what about the mats? Because like, so it won't go in our apartment. I know I need one, but can I get it?
They usually come with a chair, if you buy a desk chair.
I don't like the maps, some people do, some people don't, but if you do, just add it to the Ackerman Road thing, Daisy. Look and
Well, you
see,
just have to-
or unless you have a yourself.
Well, that's what I was gonna ask.
D.
Like I
Wood
have
Pro
office
probably has
equipment
it.
repair.
Yeah.
Maintenance, what is that?
Are you ready?
Have a printer
I'm gonna
repair
get
back.
back, you're all gonna find me out again, I gotta.
Talk to you, I don't need to do it. I don't need to think about you.
Because I have 775.
Can you turn it on?
Could that be used to buy that?
We passed that
Bill
along.
will share, tell Michelle what dimensions, and if you
Well, I was
roll
in
in
the
for
hall, I
two
was
hours.
in the car.
Yeah.
Have you given me, those are my, yeah, like give me a.
Let's step out of this, where's this camera, everything you're saying.
So I was thinking of. Those are right.
It says courthouse maintenance report.
I'm just saying.
The courthouse maintenance.
I have.
Ask them to be moved to Wednesday, so they're out of whack right now. So they want
We don't do it.
maybe yes, until Wednesday, because they're in red right now.
What about courthouse maintenance? I can't find anything.
That's because you don't have it yet,
Okay.
because that includes a lot of other things besides just, he gave a
You don't have this sheet?
individual page
Not
with
that
some
sheet.
specific
But
things.
it's incomplete?
But that doesn't have all the utilities and the phone maintenance and all that kind of stuff. on it.
Fire
That's
alarm
just
system.
specific.
So
yeah.
you want to move that to Wednesday too?
That may even be at a later one when we do non-departmental and capital outlay and all this. This is just specific to the
Okay.
departments being able to come in and get broad overviews. Start figuring out what we might have left.
Okay.
Next thing to do,
There's not another one. The next one is to adjourn.
I make a motion to adjourn.
Okay, well, before you do, you had this sheet in here.
Yes, sir.
All right, I'll put a bunch of things in there. I'm not sure of all of them yet. I'll have to go back through them. But anyway, I also have another request for Danny for office space. And I don't know whether we can use that space at the back of the building over there, 115, 119 North Brown. You know, the back room there. I don't know what we'll have for him. You want to have any idea where we can have all this space for Danny? He's going to get, I guess he's going to get Johnny Smart's computer equipment, whatever, and records he says have to be locked. And it's not possible to do it in the building, the EMS building down there at Kennedy. I don't know what we have to do. We'll kind of have to discuss. But on this, the way station, they requested some more stuff. They're changing the lighting out there. I have to go back through this, but I have just a basic sheet in there that you can look at.
You know, Juan, I really think, like Pete's mentioned about the scale and stuff, I really think we need to create a separate budget so we can start getting some costs together on the scale by itself, as well as the jail by itself, you know. I know everything is under Dwayne's overall budget, but we need to, or somehow maybe start breaking out costs just for the housing inmates, you know, so we have an idea of what we're spending.
There's specific line items in the budget for.
Yeah, but I think we need to
inmate
have, he should have his own little budget whenever he starts.
housing. You should have what kind of budget?
Their own personal little budget.
Inmate housing?
I'm talking from inmate housing, from medical care for the inmates, from housing,
Well, those
for
are already line
supplies.
items in
But
the
you don't get a
sheriff's
break, but you're making Dwayne's, it looks, Dwayne's budget then looks, it's over, I mean,
It's
what-
large
what-
because of. it's
I know, but
insurance.
law enforcement is one thing and detention is another. Yes, it is.
It all goes under the sheriff's department. If we've got issues now because we already create so many different accounts
Well,
and
then,
departments.
but I'm.
I mean, license and weight or the weigh station is separated out. It's not included in Dwayne's. There's a deputy that's included in Dwayne's, but that deputy can do things besides just license and weight as far as law.
But you got your dispatchers and your jailers, and you got food for that, and you got mattresses, you got all kind of medical supply, you got all kind of other things, transportation back and forth, that should be charged directly into the jail.
Which is part of the sheriff's department.
And law enforcement is another part. Yeah, it is. Detention is one thing, and overall public safety is another. That's what I'm trying to say. Because.
But all you have to do is look at his expenditure report every month, and you would see line items for detention, for prisoner supplies, for prisoner medical, for jail food. All those, you can extrapolate those on your own and see what your total cost is. I mean,
I shouldn't have to extrapolate them on my own. We should be able to provide, just look at it that way. You should take it and see it that way.
well, I don't think I should have to create a divided department exclusive to inmate costs. Because you're not going to be able to assess your transportation, et cetera, unless you're going to complicate their lives to keep mileage and.
Well, evidently, we don't know how many inmates we got where. We got.
You want to bet there's bills in there that have the itemization.
I asked this morning, they didn't know what inmates were where. They got 30 beds at Geo, and yet we got somebody in Lago County, we got somebody maybe in
The
there.
bills are in there that you can view, Shelby. They are itemized. The people go to different facilities when we're either full out here, or when we have pregnant females that have to be specialized, or when we have family out here that family can't be in
I
the same
understand
place.
you have to separate the inmates, but a comment was made here, well, Geo probably can't, they can't control them. Well, if they can't control them, who the hell can?
It's not my.
Should we just put them in our jail here? We should control our own people because we don't want to put somebody else's problem, our problem, on somebody else, do we? No.
Shelby, you
How much
also
money
have
was
certain
GEO
sheriffs-
making off of Karnes County? They can take our inmates up to
You
our
also
three
have
beds
certain
plus
sheriffs,
some.
certain other counties that say, I won't take that inmate, I won't take that inmate. Once they see that before, they won't take them. So, you can have agreements, but you still got selected what they're gonna do.
But I'm saying, if we have a jail, and if nobody wants our inmate, why should we have to push them off, or try to push them off anywhere? Why can't we take care of our own inmate ourselves?
We will once we have a new facility. And do it with 12 people.
Whatever. 'Cause
Well,
I know I feel I'm strong on a separate thing with him. I'm not gonna argue anymore.
I'll make a motion to
All right.
adjourn.
It's been made and seconded already, right?
Second it.
Okay, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? We're adjourned. Thank y'all very much for coming.
Thank you.